Okay, this is the first impressions, literally just got back from the cinema, of Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, or BVS DOJ, or Beavis Dodge. Bats v Soups. I think I'm going to save a lot of this for the main podcast, but you can get my first impressions here. What would you like to know, Sharon? Sharon did not have the pleasure of seeing this, so she has been at home in anticipation of what I would say when we got back. Did it interest you? I mean, do you want to see it?
I think my position is I want to have seen it.
That's the same as me. I want to have seen it. I don't want to actually see it. Kind of like a tetanus shot.
Yeah, but this is a tetanus shot that takes 2.5 hours.
Yeah. And boy, does it. It's also a tetanus shot where they accidentally jab the needle in far too hard and it breaks off in the bone.
Oh, that's not right.
Yeah. What, did you expect me to like this?
No.
Okay. Folks at home, did you expect me to like this? If the answer was yes, I'm Alex Shaw. You may not have heard of me. Yeah, basically the odds were all stacking up against me liking this. But against all of those, I went in with... what I tried to approximate were no expectations, or at least low enough expectations that I wanted to like it. Why would I not want to like it? Why would I not want it to be good? I want a good Superman film. We've had some great Batman films, but I want a really good Superman film. And I just figured that adding Batman to the mix and Wonder Woman may just be the chemistry required. But you see, those are some very strong flavors, and they require a good chef. Like a gifted chef, frankly, to get this working. So what do you want to know, Sharon?
Right, okay. Well, I did come up with a few questions.
Okay.
I think I have a question for each of the main core characters. Mm-hmm. So that should help. So who would you like to start with?
Whichever one you want. Whichever you okay. Oh, right. Regarding spoilers, I'm going to try to keep this, I'm not going to say... no, I can't really, can I? Tell you what, I'll have a spoiler section up later ahead where I'll say, right, go away if you don't want to hear spoilers, and then everything after that will be spoilerific, but we'll save that stuff for the tail end of this. Is that fair?
Okay.
Everyone fine with that? Cool.
Right, okay. Okay, well, let's start with the big guy. My question regarding Superman was, has Snyder gone with consistency of character for Clark from Man of Steel? So, for example, is he still conflicted about his hero role? Is he still doing that thing where, somebody perceiving him from the outside would be kind of, is he heroic? Is he a little bit edgy? Is he somebody I should possibly be hiding from right now? Yeah,
that's the whole crux of what's running through the film is Superman a hero, or is he here to destroy us? And as far as Batman's concerned, if there's even 1% chance that he could be a danger to us, we must destroy him. Batman's a fascist in this, by the way. If you want Batman super right-wing, you're Frank Miller nutjob Batman, you're really genuinely dislikable Batman, genuinely dislikable Bruce Wayne, this is your guy. But see, here's the thing. I was trying to work out, where on the Batman scale I've seen this before, and basically he's pretty much the same as Bruce was in The Dark Knight Rises. He's done the Batman thing, he failed at it, and everyone's miserable as a result. And Alfred, how many people stayed heroes? And he's disillusioned, and so he's that Batman. So he's super,
so, in other words...
miserable Batman.
Massively
self-pitying
neurotic.
Batman.
Right. So he's massively neurotic about his own inability to be a hero.
Yeah.
And therefore he thinks that means nobody's allowed to be a hero.
But Superman is Batman in Batman Begins. So he's all kind of broken up and he's all kind of brooding and stuff. So basically Superman in this is Batman, and Batman wearing 2 suits of armor is double Batman. Now, I've been saying this for quite a while, but I've been waiting to break that one out. Because it's not, because I'm double Batman. That's who I'm going to beat you. And
oh my God! It's kids in the playground.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm going to win. Because I'm Batman. No, I'm going to win because I'm double Batman.
Because they've turned Green Arrow into Batman now. They turned Superman into Batman several years ago, and he is pretty consistent with how he was in Man of Steel. He's like doing that thing that Henry Cavill does, where he sort of stares up and slightly to the left and sort of goes, ooh, yeah, I'm thinking here. Yeah, Zach's told me to think. I like Henry Cavill. He's a likable enough guy. He is not an astonishing on-screen presence, but ultimately, he doesn't really have to be to embody Superman. And there was a lot more of the old Supermans, like the old Christopher Reeve Supermans, than I expected. Like just little hallmarks, little flashes, little bits from that and here and there. And this doesn't really spoil much, folks, but a lot more Superman 4: The Quest for Peace than I was expecting.
Oh! Okay.
Although he doesn't fly Lois up to space and she breathes. That would be mental. But there is some flying up to space and back down again. And then back up. And then back down. So he is consistent, yes.
Right, okay. So who he is in Man of Steel.
It doesn't feel like, what? You set him up like this in Man of Steel and now he's all gone different. It feels like the sequel to Man of Steel.
Right, okay.
And everything that entails.
I see. So DC heard that joke about be yourself, and if you can't be yourself, be Batman, and applied it to everyone.
I'm looking forward to Aquaman being Batman, The Flash being Batman, Cyborg being Batman, and Wonder Woman. Well, more on her in a bit.
Okay. Right. Okay. So let's look at double Batman for a moment then.
Batman.
So my question with regards to Batman was, is Kevin Smith likely to regret recommending Ben Affleck for Batman, bearing in mind that he'd probably think even comedically bad was still worthwhile?
No, I actually don't think he's bad. He's just... Okay. And here's the thing. This is not the Batman I want to see, but a load of people are going to fucking love this guy. A load of people are going to say, this is my Batman. And all those people complaining about Batfleck, all of the ideas of like cheesy acting, he's committed to it. He's not, this is not the Ben Affleck of 2003. He's not doing the same performance as Daredevil. He is older, he's more grim, and he's taken what he's learned from his films.
More grim than Daredevil, wow.
I didn't like watching him at all, but, a lot of people will.
Okay.
But, I don't like watching Netflix's Daredevil at all, but a lot of people do.
Okay.
It's basically Frank Miller. It's that influence.
Splendid.
It's not that Frank Miller, it has, it's that is the tone they're going to. Yep, we'll go with that. And ultimately, Netflix's Daredevil is more sensitive than Frank Miller, has put across. And there is more to it than that. But there is definitely his influence felt. I mean, if you're going to use one comic writer now in 2016 for, to kick off 1, 2, 3, 4, like loads of premiere characters and set the tone for them, Frank Miller is not the guy I would choose.
I've got to admit, see, Frank Miller to me is like barbecue sauce, right?
It's a strong-ass flavour.
It's a strong-ass flavour. It goes great with sausages.
I see what you did there.
You don't want to smother it on everything.
I'd say Frank Miller was more like ketchup. Barbecue sauce has a sort of a smokiness to it. It has some mystique.
Are you saying Frank Miller lacks mystique?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Right, okay. So, moving on from the inverted commas, heroes. So, how successful is Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor? And would you classify him more as your classic villain, or is he more of the modern antagonist type?
He's an annoying little twat I couldn't stand. Jesse Eisenberg is basically trying... I mean, he's not doing Robert Downey Jr., but he is trying to be this universe's Tony Stark, because Bruce Wayne sure as hell isn't going to do it. So he's like super eccentric and saying funny things and like tapping people and like messing with them. And I kept thinking about, why is he allowed to? Oh, he's super rich. He's super, super rich. So he's allowed to behave like this. But he looks like a 12-year-old boy. And But he never really talks to anyone that he's not, like, intimidating or bullying. And it just doesn't feel like he's got those connections to really be Lex. I never liked Gene Hackman's Lex. Didn't much like Kevin Spacey's Lex. Clancy Brown is, pinnacle for me. He is fan-bloody-tastic and was for years as Lex Luthor. And it would have been nice to get a Lex that wasn't like dancing from foot to foot going, my plans are coming to fruition. There was one weird moment of like 4D where he's just chomping down some Jolly Ranchers and he shoves a Jolly Rancher into a guy he's talking to's mouth. And he says it's cherry. And I was eating a friggin' cherry Jolly Rancher at the time. It was like, weird, you can taste the screen. Did not expect that to happen. But I do like Jolly Ranchers.
Okay. So he's kind of the...
That was the best moment of the film for me, by the way.
Was it? Oh, my God. So the best moment of this eagerly awaited film
will not in any way affect anybody else. Oh, yeah, it was great. It was cherry.
Well, that says a lot.
Yeah.
So he's kind of Riddler-like then.
Yeah, actually, I did think about the Riddler. Yeah. Joygasm! That.
Excellent.
Okay. So next?
I know what you mean about Clancy Brown, though, and it seems almost like the DC animated universe has set the bar on so many of these characters so high, it was going to be difficult for them to even come close.
They haven't tried.
This is true.
Well, no, they haven't tried to come close to that. They've done their own thing, and obviously it'll please a lot of people, but not me. Next.
Okay. Right. Has there been much in the way of character growth for Amy Adams as Lois?
Nah. Next.
Okay.
Amy Adams' Lois is there because our women folk are being put in danger by Lex Luthor. They're being kidnapped left, right, and centre. Martha Kent also gets kidnapped. And it's very important that these men save their women folk. Lois gets saved from death 3-4 times. She's basically there to get put in danger so that Superman and Superman can save her over and over again. 'Twas thus and never shall be.
Okay. Right, okay. Well, then, in the hope that there might possibly be a female in this film that doesn't fit that particular kidnap victim template, this was actually the first question that I wrote down when you told me to think of some
Because that
questions.
is your first concern.
This is basically my first and only concern, frankly, which is really ironic considering that way back in the depths of history when all of this was first announced, I was really underwhelmed at the casting of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I wasn't expecting her to do anything much with it and didn't think it was really going to achieve anything. And now she's pretty much the only thing I'm interested in seeing. So obviously as I understand, she's not in it much. But how well do they seed Wonder Woman as a character for her own movie?
They show you a photo and say, look, she probably did something a while back. Oh, do you actually want to know about Wonder Woman herself? Couldn't tell you.
Yes.
No. I joked when we'd seen the recent trailer that you do realise that she is going to be Black Widow in Iron Man 2, right? That basically she's going to turn up at a couple of parties, look really glamorous, say a few mysterious things, walk around and be like, what's up with this lady? She's super glamorous and she's got some mystique. And then she'll turn up at the end for a kick-ass fight scene. And then she'll basically seed the Avengers, or JLA. Exactly what happened. But further to that, this movie is Iron Man 2, but without the whimsy, without the charm of Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow and everything that happens in Iron Man 2. It's got... Justin Hammer is Lex Luthor, the scheming industrialist. He sets up his, I'm going to get a big thing that's going to really wreck Iron Man. Superman has to answer for his incredible power, same as Iron Man. And then he ends up having a great big fight with that guy in the sort of dark grey suit, who should be his buddy but isn't. And they have a horrible fight inside. The main fight, this isn't really a spoiler, it basically takes place in a dark toilet. Everyone's like, it's going to be Lex himself says it's going to be the gladiator battle of the century. No. Remember that bit in The Matrix where Morpheus gets the shit beaten out of him by Agent Smith in the toilet?
Yeah.
It's basically that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So Iron Man fighting War Machine. Only that was a fun fight. And then at the end, they all team up together to deal with Justin Hammer's lackeys. And rather than it just being Rhodey and Tony shooting all the drones, it's Superman and Batman dealing with a big thing. And rather than just dealing with some security guards, Wonder Woman chips in and sort of helps with the big thing. And then there is a much more dramatic turn than Iron Man 2 takes after that. Mm-hmm. I'll put that in the spoiler section. But your basic structure here is, look, Justice League is going to be good. Same as everyone accused Iron Man 2 of saying, look, Avengers is going to be good. We're just going to, mark time on the vine while you wait for that to happen. Iron Man 2 is a very watchable movie for me. This is an unwatchable movie for me.
Oh, shit. So I guess we're not going to be going to see it together then.
Nah, if you want to go see this, it's your £10.
I was just about to say this doesn't sound like something I want to spend £10 on.
Back to Gal Gadot. She is the bit where she comes in. Can we go to the spoiler section actually? Because I think, is there anything else that you need to ask which doesn't pertain to spoilers?
That was my questions. So
okay.
I'm ready to move on.
Right. So spoilers after this music. The big thing is that Lex Luthor added his own blood to, I don't know, oh God. So, at this exact same time, by the way, Batman points a laser at a thing and science comes out and he makes like... It's the bit where Tony makes his element, basically, and science comes out of this laser. And but Batman's trying to synthesize kryptonite and use it for weapons. And the fight between
you said that, didn't you?
Exactly. The fight between him and Superman is basically Superman. Superman doesn't want to fight Batman, but Batman is super pissed because at the very, very beginning, I forgot to mention at the very, very beginning, it starts with the death of the Waynes, Bruce's parents, and at the point when Martha Wayne dies, they weren't content with this being a really starkly realized sort of a desperate man, Joe Chill. From Bruce's point of view, it's just a shadowy figure. He hooks the gun underneath Martha Wayne's pearls, his enormous gun dick, and then fires it into her face, and she falls backwards in slow motion with pearls scattering over her, the semen from his gun cock, as she splatters to the ground.
Ooh. And
then Thomas Wayne turns to her, and rather than saying, Bruce, don't be afraid, because that would be an excellent film, he goes, Martha, because Zack Snyder and David Goyer noticed that Martha Wayne and Martha Kent share the same name. Remember that one, sweetheart, because it's very important. Batman decides he's... immediately after that, there's 9/11 imagery up the wazoo as we go back to the end of Man of Steel when Metropolis is falling and Bruce Wayne drives fast to Wayne Towers to try to stop everyone. Like, he phones up and says, everyone get out of the building. And, like, even though 9/11 times 1,000 is going on in Metropolis, they hadn't worked out to do that until Bruce Wayne told them to. Brilliant. And then a buddy of his basically stays behind for no reason, and so that when the tower comes crashing down, Bruce is like, no, my buddy! I think I gave him a name like 10 seconds ago. And then he stops a little girl from getting killed, and it's like, Superman, you've blown this place to sky high. Oh, I'm so angry at you. And one thing leads to another, and most of the first 2/3 of the film is just like sort of, oh, I'm really angry at Superman. He's like the trailer told you everything about that. But they never mention the kryptonite in the trailer. There's a kryptonite thing fell out of the ship. After all of their trying to not use kryptonite in Man of Steel, they kind of did it anyway with the Kryptonian atmosphere. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as kryptonite. But they didn't actually bring out the green rocks. In this, they brought out the green rocks so that Lex could get it, then Batman steals it from Lex, and then he makes a bunch of weapons with it. And Lex gets Superman to fight Batman by kidnapping Martha Wayne, Martha Stewart, Martha Kent, and saying, I'm literally going to fry your mother alive in 20 minutes if you don't kill Batman. That's the stakes of the fight. So Superman goes there to fight with Batman in his bat armor. Why does Batman have that faceplate uncovered? Why isn't he just fully Iron Manned up? Because if he doesn't have the faceplate uncovered, because it's vulnerable. Like, all that Superman has to do is go, like, and then zap him in the fucking mouth. But he doesn't, because he's Superman. And, so they fight, and Superman, like, has a... This is how confusing it is. We've seen so many comic book movies, so many better comic book movies. This just feels like a boy smashing action figures together. So yeah, Batman's laid a bunch of traps. And, Batman's the best because he's always the most prepared. He's the most prepared for everything. Who could, it's the answer to who would win in a fight between Batman and Superman is the most boring question in comic books. Because if you're talking and there's a Batman fan in the room, he won't accept that there is even a possibility that Superman might win. And I was thinking, well, it's a stupid question anyway, because ultimately it'll end in a stalemate and then they'll team up and fight Doomsday. And it doesn't end in a stalemate. Basically, Batman sets so many traps, sets off so many kryptonite bombs, that he basically... he cheats his way through to... Well, I'd say cheats. He uses his advantages and his incredible technology, his incredible fortune to being able to just basically splatter Superman, punches the shit out of him, like punching him over and over again. So remember that fight between Thor and Tony in Avengers? When you're like, oh, God, this is so awesome. It's not that at all. It's like, oh, God, stop punching him. Leave him alone. Jesus Christ, Batman. And then Superman hits Batman a bit. Lyra and I have staged this fight, by the way. Okay? Imagine Superman's at one end of the room, Batman's at the other, and then they're about to go run and punch each other. Everyone seems to forget how incredibly fast Superman is. He's flash fast. Okay? So imagine, if you will, Batman very, very, very slow motion punching and Superman going, and stepping slightly to one side, just like Quicksilver in X-Men Days of Future Past, and then just tweaking Batman's wrist and slowly moving his fist forwards to hit his own face, and then we cut back to normal speed and Batman knocks himself the fuck out. Superman is super fucking fast, and initially he gets kryptonited, but then the kryptonite wears off, and they're punching the shit out of each other. In which case Superman would use his super speed and go, right, this is done, okay, and laser Batman's head off. Or not, because ultimately he's got to do it to save his mum. Or he could just go, Batman, no time to explain, gotta go save my mum. And he doesn't. And eventually, basically, Batman is about to impale him on a harpoon of kryptonite because he beat him, because he's Batman. Because I'm Batman! I'm so fucking sick of this unbeatable comic book Batman. So sick of him. And then Lois Lane comes in, and before he does, Superman goes, Martha, and he's like, where did you know that name? And that's the thing that stops him. And basically then they team up and it's like, oh my God, we've got it, blah, 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 blah. And then it rushes forwards and then he goes in. A Nuclear Man comes out, which is Gene Hackman's I think his name was Frank Pillow or something like that. Because he made him out of a clone of himself, or Superman's DNA and his own DNA or something like that. In this case, it's General Zod. They made a full body rubber cast of the guy who played General Zod, that really boring fellow who's just unpleasant to watch in every film. Michael Shannon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They seem to just make a giant rubber Michael Shannon. They wheel it all over the place during this film. And eventually it ends up being turned into, Lex, splatters his own blood on Michael Shannon's rubber face and then puts him in the machine and science happens. And what comes out is basically a Grey Hulk. And then Doomsday, oh God, it's just a fight. It's just a big fight. And it ends up with Superman flying up into space, and then then the humans launching missiles, and Superman sort of flies up and he's holding on to Grey Hulk because he doesn't want Grey Hulk to smash up the city, and then he sort of turns around and then the missiles coming towards him and Superman just goes, Superman. No, he doesn't, because that's the Iron Giant, a fucking brilliant film. No, it explodes, and then he ends up all white and all horrible and disheveled like he was in Superman 4, as Frank Pillow's Nuclear Man falls to Earth, and then Batman goes, I've got to get him to follow me back to the kryptonite thingy. And then Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons, with 1/18th the charm of Michael Caine, I might add. It was so boring watching Jeremy Irons just chew through the Alfred lines. It says, okay, sir, we've got to get you to the kryptonite thingy. But rather than going, why don't you go get the kryptonite thingy, bring it back here and stab him with it, it's like, I've got to get him to chase me. And then the only good bit of the whole film comes in. Now, when he met when Bruce Wayne met Wonder Woman at a party earlier, she was all exotic, and she was, "Oh, Mr. Wayne, you're really spoiling us with this reception." And then she turns up again, and then they email each other. It's like, sup, want to form a Justice League? I sure do. And then when General Zod / Doomsday / Nuclear Man is about to kill Batman with his eye beams, then boom! Wonder Woman comes down and blocks them with her bracelets. Hans Zimmer's gone all out with this Wonder Woman theme. It's like... And it's like, yay, kind of. I mean, I guess Wonder Woman's there. I mean, she's a third stringer in a battle between two extremely famous men. And she's there, and she does get to sort of slash at him a bit with a sword, but she's just there. And ultimately, the fight could actually have been done. Like, if you just CGI'd Wonder Woman out... There's a few frames in which she actually affects the action. Like, there, at one point, to kill Doomsday, they have to... Superman has to go get the kryptonite rod, because, of course, Batman couldn't. It has to be Superman has to go and get the kryptonite rod. Couldn't be Wonder Woman who goes to get that. It has to be Superman, the only man who's weak to this, to go get the kryptonite rod. Also saving Lois Lane from drowning as he's doing so. Just like sort of, oh, yeah, you're drowning again. What's going to happen to you after I'm dead, Lois? I have no idea. Then he flies it back. Wonder Woman's holding down Doomsday with a golden lariat, and Batman, I think he shoots him with some more kryptonite because he's got a gun. Did I mention Batman has guns? Batman's capping people left, right, and center in this. He is killing thugs all over the place. He's not Daredevil, he's the Punisher in this.
Oh, God.
Batman kills and doesn't feel a thing. And there are going to be people who love this Batman. And like, finally, Batman is doing what fascists should do. Deciding, as well as branding criminals, which even Alfred goes, oh, steady on, Bruce. And at the end, he's about to brand Lex Luthor, but he doesn't. Like, he doesn't burn him with his bat mark.
We didn't burn him.
So yeah, Superman flies the kryptonite rod straight into the heart of Doomsday, who like goes, and there's a big kryptonite explosion, and Superman gets stabbed through the heart with bone claws because he's also the Abomination from the end of the Incredible Hulk. And then Superman, because of the kryptonite, has been stabbed through the heart. And so Superman's dead. Oh my God, Superman's dead! Oh my God, Superman is dead! Can you believe it, folks? Superman is dead. How are we going to do the Justice League now? Oh no, Sharon, Superman is dead. Superman is dead. Just like in the Death and Return of Superman, Superman is dead. And the world goes, why? Why did we say we hated Superman? Obviously, he's really nice. And then they bury him in Kansas and they play Amazing Grace. And then they throw dirt on his grave and Batman goes, "Sup, Wonder Woman?" She goes, "Oh, we must form a Justice League. You must help me find Aquaman," who's in it for like there's file footage of Aquaman, Flash, and Cyborg, like on the Wonder Woman watches on her computer like she's looking at YouTube, and she's like, "We must go and we must fight," and yes, I am Wonder Woman. I don't think she's French. She's Israeli. But she's got this lovely exotic accent. And you know what? I am not going to be one of those guys who rejects her and goes, "She's not my Wonder Woman," in the same way that I'm rejecting this Batman. Because she's the only Wonder Woman. Neither am I going to be the one who goes, "Yeah, she's Wonder Woman. She's awesome. Kick-ass. Yeah, she's still got to prove herself in Wonder Woman." But right now, she is the Wonder Woman I tolerate because I don't really have that much of a say in it. It's really not up to me in this. You know, she is Wonder Woman, the first headlining female superhero of any merit. So glad she turned up as a third stringer in a cameo in a film about two white rich men doing things. And Superman may not be rich. You know, he's got Fortress of Solitude. I think he drags the Titanic to it. So he may not be cash rich, but he's certainly land rich.
Oh, God.
He's like, "This is for my collection." Or something. Maybe he's helping a boat. It's not really made clear. The film ambles along and meanders, and I don't like anything about it. I don't like it as much as I like The Dark Knight, because The Dark Knight is absolutely brilliant. I don't like it as much as Batman Begins, as Dark Knight Rises. I don't like it as much as Man of Steel, because Man of Steel has two moments. Well, one moment of really, that's really, really nice, which is Diane Lane as Martha Kent saying, "Just, the world's too big, Mom. Then make it small." Listen to my voice. That's a lovely moment in Man of Steel. And then when he finally flies in Man of Steel, that is pure joy on film. Well done, Zack Snyder. That is pure joy on film. There is no pure joy on film in this film. That, at least, I mean, we watched Man of Steel the other day, and we pretty much turned the sound down for the last half. Basically, once General Zod turns up, it's just fight after explosion, after boring, after people talking with the military in a battleship grey setting, and it's boring as all hell. It is a boring, difficult to watch movie that is boring to watch. Batman v Superman is more boring. It is more depressing. I have no interest in ever seeing it, or even really ever talking about it again. Kind of like Sucker Punch. I don't really want to talk about it that much. I'm going to let you guys talk during the podcast. I think I'm going to put this on the podcast as well, because it's worth getting what I have to say done there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. And then it finishes, and Lois throws some dirt on Superman's coffin, and then just before the credits roll, the dirt starts to slowly rise up. Could Superman be alive? Of course he's alive. Justice League. What's the point? What's the point in playing the death and return of Superman on us? I mean, I get it, but I would have preferred to see the world react to that in this film. And go, thank God he's back. Like they did in... Well, I mean, basically, they played the death and return of Superman in Superman Returns. Way better film than this. Batman, the one with Jack Nicholson, it's got Jack Nicholson in it. It's got Michael Keaton in it. It's got the Prince soundtrack in it. It's got a Danny Elfman score. That's great. Yeah, lovely. I mean, I don't like the film that much by today's standards, but I prefer it to Batman v Superman. Batman Returns got Michelle Pfeiffer acting like a total nutbag. It's got Christopher Walken going, actually, it's a lot like that. It's got Danny DeVito going, I wish I could fill her void. Better for me than Batman v Superman. Batman Forever... Fuck Batman Forever. And Batman and Robin... I kind of feel sorry that they went so camp and then the pendulum swung back so violently, because it swung back so hard it hit Superman in the nuts and killed him.
Oh, God.
And then it swung and hit Batman in the nuts and made him so angry that the only hope we have is Lego Batman the movie, because it's all about Batman being lonely. I can't wait to see that. But this... if this is the tone for the rest of the Justice League films, the one where I'm on the Limitless card, I would gladly see all these films with my Limitless card, just to say, what I thought of them. But if I'm actually paying £10 a time for them, I have no interest in actually splashing out on these films at all. And ultimately, it was like, I'm so tired of hearing that Marvel do things right. Marvel. You know what? Marvel do things right for me and a lot of other people, and I love what they do. I really do. They seem to really have it down. And I could maybe Civil War will thoroughly disappoint everyone, and so will maybe Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Avengers Infinity. I mean, Doctor Strange may actually suck. It's from the director of horror movies that are not fantastic. But relative to let's just back to Batman with Superman. But relative to what Warner Brothers have done with Man of Steel, did with The Dark Knight Rises, and have done with this, I'm not afraid for the future. I'm not like, oh my God, they're going to ruin Superman. He's ruined. Pretty like Superman's going to outlive everyone, so the bright Superman may eventually come back, but it's going to be a long dark patch. And Batman's going to be like this for a long time on one hand, but then they also have to market him to kids, so thank goodness for Lego Batman. And when we get Wonder Woman, it's just a damn shame that we aren't going to get a Wonder Woman shot in colour. Because she actually looks like a beautiful model cosplaying as Wonder Woman, exactly like I thought she would be from seeing her in the picture. And she is. She's a beautiful model cosplaying as Wonder Woman. She never made me think that's Wonder Woman. But like I said, I'll tolerate Gal Gadot. I don't really have much choice in the matter. It's like everyone else, I tolerated Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I liked him in some capacity, but it's not like who's unbearable in a certain role. I think Christian Bale as Batman by the end was unbearable. His version of The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that's gone and done. And I don't know, feasibly Ben Affleck could be in a different Batman. You know what? Suicide Squad? God. And the other thing is, I kept wishing for Deadpool to show up. Because everyone's so fucking serious throughout this whole film.
You wanted the strains of XCOM give it to you to start coming in.
Yes! Yes. You know what? Deadpool this year, followed by Civil War. Marvel Comics seem to have it down. Don't know about X-Men Apocalypse. I'll have to see with that one. But, yeah. Also Doctor Strange. So looking forward to that. Next one, Wonder Woman on the slate, I believe. I'll watch that happily, but I guess it's kind of like, yeah, you know what? Actually, I suppose it's like seeing Captain America: The First Avenger after Iron Man 2. If only Captain America had turned up in his future self in Iron Man 2. Because that's it's going to be set during World War One. And there's a really weird sequence. And it's a mess, by the way, I might as well add it. It's not just boring, it's all over the place. There's so many plots and subplots and subplots. And there's a jar of piss called Grandma's Peach Tea. I kid you not, that's actually a character in this film.
What?
Yeah, you're going to have to see it to understand what the hell that means. But everyone who's seen it is like, yeah, what was that about? But there's a bit where Batman has a weird dream where he's like Batman in the Gulf, and he finds some what should be kryptonite, and then a bunch of super Nazis turn up, and he's fighting all these super Nazis with Superman patches on them. It's like a dark vision of the future where Superman's gone nuts and enslaved the world. So all that bit in the second trailer where he unmasks Batman, that was all a dream sequence. Batman's being wrestled to the ground and he's in a coat by the super Nazis. That's all just a dream. That's a possible future. But then what looks like Cyborg comes through a time hole and goes, Bruce, you were right, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember exactly what he said, but you were right. Seeding the next few films. This happened. Superman was blah, 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 and he was always going to turn bad. So I suppose that might be Justice League Dark. And it did not belong in this film. At all. It complicates things so much. It would have been so much better if they just had a straightforward Superman light, but Batman can't see it. Batman dark, trapped in the shadow. They clash over ideals, and Superman has a genuine stake in it. He doesn't really want to fight Batman, but Batman's gonna make him. There's a whole bunch of different things that could have happened with this. And ultimately, this, what this really is a grimy punch-up in a toilet. And it takes 3 hours, and it's boring, and it's exhausting. And often those two are the same things.
Mm. Excellent.
Okay, anything else you want to
know? You've made me want to know less about it, frankly. I don't know at what point I'm going to see this then, because this is sounding like a wait till it comes out on Netflix kind of thing.
No, it won't be on Netflix. They don't put WB stuff on Netflix. You wait to see Man of Steel on Netflix, that ain't happening.
Good point.
I don't want to buy it on DVD.
No.
I mean, maybe we'll buy it in UV code.
Yeah, when it gets down to a couple of quid.
Yeah, like four quid I'd pay for this for you to see again. But give us some time. And it would probably be better to see it just before Wonder Woman, because then you'd be like, ugh. Oh, still, Wonder Woman's coming out next week, so we can see it then. Yeah, it's sort of like, this is the appetizer. Unfortunately, it's an appetizer in a trough full of pig swill and knives. And you got to eat it all.
Wonderful. Appetizer for destruction, you might say.
And broken glass and baby shit.
Wow. Sounds brilliant.
I would say it's worse than Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. That's the thing. I'm not saying it's worse than Batman or Batman Returns. I think it's just a case that I prefer Batman Returns. I don't prefer Batman Forever or Batman and Robin. Ugh. But that ain't saying anything. Okay. let's just put this out, shall we? Right. Thank you very much, Sharon. This has been an absolute pleasure.
That sounds like a lie.
It is. It was a misery. But at least I've had my tetanus jab now. I've got my lollipop, my Jolly Rancher, my cherry Jolly Rancher, and we can move on and watch Civil War, and that will be good. Don't show me the trailer for Civil War before Batman v Superman, guys.
You're just setting yourself up to fail then, really, aren't you?
Yeah.